Hello and welcome to Jammin, Jukebox, the radio show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn. So very glad to be here with you tonight. It is Tuesday, which means it's no longer Monday, and that means 3 days from now, you got it, it'll be Friday in the weekend. So I hope that your week is off to a great start and things are looking up and you're enjoying some beautiful weather like I have been for the last couple of days, and spring has sprung. We are so very happy and excited tonight to bring to you an artist that, oh my gosh, she has been around the block a time or two in the recording world, and it's just such an honor to have her with us. She is known as an entertainer extraordinaire and has performed as a solo artist and actress, dancer, and with a group. And her special gifts and talents are displayed through her vocal and acting performances in which she brings the gift of love and touches the souls of her audience. She recently has released a brand new album called Songs for Love and Peace, and we would love to welcome Miss Kristy Love. Hello, how are you?
I'm just wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm terrific. Hello? I'm terrific.
Yes, you sound terrific, too. That was a great intro.
Well, thank you so much. It is such an honor, as I said, having you with us tonight. You have had such an extensive career. I mean, the fact that, you know, I think referring to you as an entertainer extraordinaire is about spot on because you've done a little bit of everything. But I want to kind of back up a little bit. And before we get into the meat of things, I want to kind of talk about, you know, how you got started in this business because you're absolutely phenomenal.
Well, thank you. That's nice of you to say. But, you know, I think I had the humble beginnings of most people where I started in the church. You know, I was a young child, and they were always having me sing and then do speeches and plays. And, you know, I think that background kind of gave me that, plus the fact that I had an older sister who was in the business, Doris Wilson, who actually sang in the Catskills and was part of a singing duo. And so she was kind of my inspiration. You kind of look up, you know, those things you kind of look up to. And before I know it, I started singing. And actually, believe it or not, because of my background in theater and all, I actually wanted to do films. I started off as wanting to do film. And, you know, back in certain days, they had certain standards to get in the film. And I just was not sleeping on a director's couch, if you know what I mean. So it was like, you know, there's certain things people had to do. And I just was not. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make myself so important, make a lot of money, sing, and what have you, and make them want me, then I can go into the film industry. So that's next. But it was a way, it was a vehicle for me to keep doing what I wanted to do. And then before I knew it, I became proficient in it, and I love it, and God gave me the gift to share. And so that's how I got into it.
Well, you know, that is such a neat story, and I love the fact that you mentioned right out of the gate that, you know, you really got your roots in music in the church.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, what a better foundation to start with, to carry you to all kinds of places, to where you've been over your career. And one of the things that I wanted to let the listeners know that they may not know this about you is that you hold a doctorate now. You are a doctor in music and theater, and you have three master's degrees. Now,
that's true.
I'm quite impressed by that. You know, not only because you are, you know, this incredible entertainer and you've so many great things in your career, but the fact that you have a doctorate and 3 master's degrees. When did you have time in the grand scheme of your career to obtain basically 4 degrees, basically 5, because you had to start with the bachelor's.
I did the bachelor's, yes. I had the bachelor's, that's true, at Michigan State.
How did you fit that in? That is so incredible
Well,
to me.
I remember I raised 2 boys. You know, I got married and had 2 kids in the interim, and then I got divorced and still had 2 kids. So I raised 2 boys, and there was a lot of in between there. But I guess it's more of a testament to my will and tenacity and my faith more, because I'm the kind of person that when I have to do something, I just do it. I just say, well, let's do it. I don't put an excuse. I don't put a not anywhere in there. As far as I'm concerned, if your mind can conceive it, it can be achieved. And I think that, like, for example, I had this situation where like I said, when I had my two children, I had to stay home for a while. I was working on my RCA deal. I actually had an RCA deal in New York at the time, and then that kind of dissipated. So I was still with the boys, and so I started going back, and I was teaching. I was a principal in New York City, and what happened was that as I was building that part of it, I discovered that in order to get paid like the other administrators were getting paid, I had to have an administrator's master's. So I said, okay. I went back and spent a year and got the Master of Science or the Administrative Master's because I wanted to get paid what I was working for. So it's kind of a thing where if people know that if you want to do something and you can see it, it's there. It's there. So that's kind of really my perspective on it. And thank God that I was able to do it.
Thank God. I know. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, when I read that about you, I was blown away because I'm currently in school full-time, and I'm working on my bachelor's. I'm 3 years in. I've got 1 year to go. And from there, you know, I definitely want to go get my master's in communications. And so, you know, school is something I always wanted to do when I was, you know, growing up and got out of high school, and it didn't work out for me to go to college right away from high school. So, you know, 25 years later, here I am on this college path. I've got kids in school myself, and it's kind of interesting, you know.
It's never too late.
No, it's not, and it's just been such a great journey for me to be able to fulfill a lifelong dream, to be able to get that degree and to work towards it. But you know, I work full time. I do the radio thing full time. I mean, so I kind of can relate to the level of, you know, activity that you probably had going on at the time, because, you know, I tell you, pursuing a degree is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. If it was all I had to do, you know, if I didn't have to work for a living or had anything else that commanded my time, it would be probably a lot easier, but it's a lot more of a challenge when you're trying to juggle many things. So the fact that you have the level of degree that you do is so, so impressive to me. And I'm just, you're like my hero in the college world in terms of what you've achieved.
You're blessed. Because you're a blessing. You're a blessing. But I'm going to tell you, you're my hero too. You'd be surprised how effortless it'll be. It's all a matter of time management, you know, and priorities, placing priorities and time management in order so that what has to get done at that time gets done and that has to get done. And I'm sure you're doing that because I know with your show, I'm hearing just terrific things about your show. And I am just elated to be here, and I think it's wonderful that you have accomplished all that you have accomplished on this level, and I know that's what you're getting ready to accomplish in your school level.
Oh, gosh, you're so kind to say that. I actually shared all that because it is so true what you said, is that when you put your mind to anything, you can accomplish it. I mean, if you can see it and you have that vision, and, of course, if God wills it, it definitely will come to fruition. And so it's so true. Sometimes I just sit here and go, you know, I don't know how I would be doing what I'm doing without a little help, you know. So it's amazing what you can accomplish when you really focus and you put your mind to it. And obviously throughout your life and your career, that's a great testament to that very thing, because you've done so many incredible things, you know, in the performing end. I mean, not only that, but, you know, you have written and directed 3 musicals. I mean, you started your own cable TV show. I guess the only thing that I'm curious about is, have you written a book? Are you working on a book? Is there going to be a book? There's got to be a book. Let's just put it that way.
I can tell you this much. I have some real stories to tell. So I guess I'll have to get to that next. However, a lot of what I did was my dissertation for my doctorate was a 3-act musical, and I wrote and produced a full 3-act musical, and a lot of that, some of that was autobiographical. So I put some things in there, and I made it, but I put it into the play. So the play has been kind of like my book form in some ways, and I did 3 plays that I'm really excited about. One is Dreams. That was my dissertation, which is kind of like autobiographical, as I said. The other one was a play called Faces in the Dark, which I really love that play. It's a 12-character play. And what I love about it is it deals with 12 people who come to this mountaintop who get stranded because of the snowstorm, and they all come from different walks of life and how they survive in the house together, or, you know, how the conflicts come up. So it has a lot of drama, but comedy. You know, you have the rapper and his bodyguard. You know, in those days the bodyguard was just his friend. So whenever something happened, the bodyguard jumped behind the couch or the rapper. So he's not really much of a bodyguard. And then you have the rich, snobbish lady who is there, who does her thing and is the least one able to survive. And then you have so many elements there. And then there's the spirit in the house. And then they come to the house and come to realize that this house has a spirit in it, and that spirit is the one that every year somebody comes to get trapped in their house, and that's the somebody goes home, somebody passes on. So it has a real nice little twist to the whole thing to see which one was designated to move on in life in that way. So I enjoy writing in that way, and I'm sure that in the right time that I will do the book. You know, the desire, like you say, has to be there. God's will has to be there. So you have that desire in the heart, and it'll go. Right now, my desire is working on my music. I've had that in my mind for so long. I was with the Platters for quite a while, and I decided that when I went on RCA and did it on my own, and they came back to the Platters, I decided it was time for me. I actually fell off the stage after Rio myself. I was on medical leave, and I decided it was a good time for me to sit back and look at all the things I've put together and just make them work for me. So, you know, God has a reason for everything, and that's kind of how I've been moving at this point.
Oh yeah, and you. I mean, that's amazing because it's like you have so many incredible stories, and they all are just so very interesting and fascinating. And the play that you were just speaking about, I mean, that is so true to life when you think about it. I mean, how we're kind of in this world made up of all different kinds of people, and there are moments in our life where we encounter being around different types of people that we have to learn to live with, so to speak, and be intelligent with. And that's probably, I think, our hardest challenge as a human being is to be able to do that, you know, because not everybody thinks the same. Everybody has their own ideals, you know, and that's so evident every day you get on social media and you just see the different opinions and thoughts flying. You know, it's amazing how we really are all created differently, but yet we're here to commune and fellowship. So, you know, I would love to see that play. I imagine it's quite fascinating.
To the grace of God, we'll get on at some point. But you brought out something very interesting because we are here. We all have different personality, different things, but we come to realize we all have the same thing, that we all have that child of God, that love that we have to, that oneness that we have to, we want to bring out the humanity in each other and the caring and the love. Just look at the Boston thing, what happened. You know, in spite of all the possible evil that could have broken out, all the beauty of the people coming together, Boston strong, as they say, all the beauty of the people coming together and to such a horrific. I mean, I cannot imagine being there, Don. I have to tell you the truth. You know, I just simply applaud the bravery of those people and how they work together. But yet, in spite of all that, the humanity comes out in all of each and every one of us. And so that's what we tap into when we're put into situations where we're different, but we tap into that humanity, that common love theme that we all have. And that's what keeps this world going, you know. One of my songs on there is Make a Better World, and it really is about making a better world, about having people put a fantasy together about how beautiful it would be to see through a child's eyes, to see no bombs in the skies. You know, what a way to show we care, just to show our humanity, and that's such an important part of what we need to do.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I couldn't agree more, and it really is true, and in a way it's kind of sad, too, that it takes tragedy sometimes for us to come together and to show our humane side. And I think sometimes we're so protective. We protect ourselves. You know, the self-preservation mode kicks in, and we don't really let down our guard enough for people to see us as we're seen in those moments when we're completely stripped and we're vulnerable, at our most vulnerable. You know, and so it is interesting how that all happens, but it is a great reminder that humanity does exist, even if it takes tragedy to reveal that. And you know, as I listen to your album, you know, your current album, Songs for Love and Peace, that is really kind of a running theme throughout your album is humanity and the human spirit. Right.
It is. It's been a wonderful, long-standing plan of mine to communicate through my music the love that we all have and the love that we should have for each other. do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I think if we take
Right.
a look at the kind of communication, because as I do with my music and theater, that my passion is for the arts, and I know we learn through the arts that the arts is a great way of communicating the love that we need to have for each other and the way that we can use it for a better humanity, for a better world. Students who study music actually do better in math and science. So I have a great passion as a professor for the arts and how it can be used to make it better. So I wanted to put out music that would be meaningful, not just, and make you feel good, and that was my intention with this album, to have feel-good music, to have thought-provoking music, and to keep a positive and an uplifting thing especially with what's going on in the world. We need a lot of uplifting music to really get our spirits soaring and to keep us on top of these things and to get rid of that other vibration, keep our vibration up so that we're thinking good thoughts. And so that was my intention to do that.
Well, and I would definitely say it has. And the thing that I love about your album is kind of a one-size-fits-all. I mean, it really is an album for every kind of music fan because, I mean, you've got kind of a pop dance club sound on it. You've got R&B, which is so classic. I mean, your remake, of a Barry White song, Gonna Love You More, oh my gosh, that's just awesome. Yeah. And, and there's just if you need to be inspired, there's uplifting music on there, like Make It Happen, It Will Be Better, and I'm Coming Home. I mean, there's music that speaks to people, and it doesn't matter what kind of genre of music that you prefer as a listener. This is the kind of album that no matter what your favorite genre is, you'll like it. I mean, it's just got that kind of appeal. And with that, as you were putting this album together, was that something that you kind of just strove to do, or did it kind of just fall into place that way as you were writing it and it was working for you?
It's interesting. I was sitting down one day and I said, you know what, I'm off work. Like I told you, I'd fallen off the reel and I've had about 3 surgeries since then. And I was sitting down and I said, you know what, it's time for me to put this album together. I had some songs that I had done earlier, and I had tracks that I had. My son, David, he did like 6 or 7 of the tracks out of those. And I had some tracks that he said, here, write the lyrics, get them down. So I went ahead and I pulled things out, and it was a combination of just, okay, so this works, let me pull this out. Make It Happen was written at the very last minute. I had a girlfriend, Karen, who said, that's a great title, I said, well, maybe I could make it work about the universe and stuff like that. She said, these kids need motivation about getting up and doing it. I said, let's do it that way.
I know.
So it's kind of like evolved into, this is what was needed, and I pulled those tracks together, and I had done a few earlier, a year or 2 ago, and I said, you know what, let's put them together, let's put them out. And as you know, the key is marketing, and so I hadn't done anything with them. I said, let me get up and do something with them. I called Chip. And Chip Schultzman, Miles High Productions, and we started working on some things, and I got some of the people on the East Coast, Dean Jackson, to put some stuff in the pools, and I started pulling people together, and Jessica, my social media, and I started learning how to do that, and Chip has been such a wonderful help. I'm so grateful that Miles High has worked it out, but it helped me to promote the thing that I wanted to do, and I'm glad that you got it. Thank you so much, because you really do have an understanding of what I was trying to do. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a big fan for anything that's positive, uplifting, and inspiring anyhow, and just, the first time I listened to the album, I was like, wow, the world needs enough. I mean, there's not enough of this kind of music out there. There's some, and it's really grown in popularity, over the last decade or so. But it's even still, I mean, with everything going on in the world today, the last thing we need to do is turn on the radio and hear something that's going to bring us down, because we have enough of that. All you got to do is turn on the television if you want that. So the music needs to be that way. It needs to be uplifting, and that's the beauty of music anyway. It's such a universal language, and how many people can relate to music, very much like your album. Music as a whole brings people together like nothing else does. And it really does speak to people in so many different ways, over your career, you've done so many things. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about is your time with the Platters. how did that come about? And you know, being in a group versus being solo, which do you prefer as an artist?
Each has its different merits, as you will know. I was fortunate and blessed to have met Buck Graham back in the day, 70s, 80s, somewhere in there. And I was actually in the original companies. I was Zola Taylor's, the original girl, her maybe 10th or 11th replacement down the line. So I was fortunate enough to become part of a group that had the kind of name and music that was so recognized, and that was really, really helpful. Consequently, as of that, I was able to be on the strip for 10 years at the Sahara as a platter with the group at the time was the Platters and the Coasters and the Drifters, and then became the Platters, Coasters, and the Marvelettes. So I shared that bill, and it was a wonderful experience, and it is a wonderful experience. They may be going back. We may be going back. I have some possibilities that may happen. I'm actually, like I said, on medical leave right now, so I'm just taking my time getting things back together, but that may happen again. However, I think that for me, in terms of my solo career, it gives me an opportunity to really put the kind of music out I want to, and also to, when I'm on the stage with my show, it gives me a chance to really present like I want to present. So it has different values for it. I enjoy my solo show. I get a chance to put it together. I get a chance to make it work, and whatever happens with it, you know, I get a chance to interject more things into it. So I enjoy doing that solo show because I can get my message out a little bit clearer, you know. But both have their way. Yeah, they both have their value.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I understand that, you know, part of your solo act, you do tributes to some of the world's divas, if you will, and, you know, such as Roberta Flack and Aretha and Gladys Knight, Whitney Houston. I mean, the list goes on. And what has that been like for you? I mean, getting up on stage and, I mean, were any of these ladies your idols, people that you know, were kind of some of your inspirations, or, you know, what kind of made you want to do a tribute to them? I mean, they're some of the greatest performers, you know, that of our time.
They are, and I tell you what's really great about them, and the reason I chose to do that segment is because of the kind of music that they were putting out. The music has changed, industry has changed so much that singers are not the kind of singers that we had when we had Whitney Houston and Gladys Knight and Roberta Flack. And so the kind of music that they were putting out at the time of Shaka Khan, come on, you know, these are our ladies of legends who really were putting out music that we can identify with, that uplifted us, and that told us truly what R&B and pop and all those things were in a nutshell. So I wanted to be able to do that kind of music, so their music represented that. Gladys Knight happens to be from Detroit, and I actually was born and raised in Detroit. So I really appreciated her music because she has such a spirit. I've been to her shows, you know, I've talked with her a little bit, and she has such a great spirit. So she's been a great inspiration to me, just watching her spirit. I don't know if you've ever been to her show in Vegas, but she just reaches out across to that audience, not just with her music, but with her heart. And that's the kind of performer I appreciate, because that's how I am with my music. And of course, Whitney, I just adore her voice. I just adore her presence, and I just adore the way that she has excelled as a female artist. You know, and for Roberta Flack, it's interesting. I used to do the first time ever I saw your face. The first time, and everybody always told me that I sounded like her, so I kind of like latched onto that. I had that sound. I like that sound, so I put some of that even in my album, you know. So, but I love that warm, sensitive, sexy sound, you know. And I think Roberta has that kind of a thing when she sings. You just feel the energy, you know.
Yeah, all of those women had a magnificent energy and just real divas of our time. And you're right. I mean, music has changed so much over the last decade or so. It's really, you know, it's very cookie cutterish now. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I'm in love with indie music, because indie music to me today reminds me of music the way it used to be. You've got artists that are being extremely creative, and they're really bringing their all to a record, and they're putting their heart and soul into it, and it's just such a great variety mix of music. And I really feel like as a listener of that and a fan of that I'm getting, you know, great quality stuff that is just phenomenal. It's second to none. But it's not to take anything away from artists of today that are mainstream, but it is amazing how the record industry has changed so much, and it's just so driven by, so many things that back in the day would have never even been a consideration. And what are your thoughts on it, having been in it for so long?
But, well, I think that the artists today, I'm going to tap into the fact that a lot of the artists are smart enough to tap into the old school music anyway. They bring a lot of it with the sampling and that way anyway. You have those who kind of move forward with other things. But if you think about it, you had those things back in the old days too. You had the people who had their extremes and that, but we just didn't focus on that. I think it's time the industry and the radio started to focus on the things that we want to be put out there in terms of positive. And I'm not taking away from anybody's music, because I think everybody has a value to what they want to present and what have you. But I think we should focus on that and not exclude the kind of music that young people could have a choice, because I guarantee you, young people listening to the right music will choose the right music and will tend to go toward that, but they need the exposure to it. That's been my experience with the Platters, because what happened is that we had young people who would come by and they would say, you know what, my mother made me listen to this, and I'm so glad she did, and I listened to it, and that's all I come back. These are 18, 19-year-olds, So we had people that who were able to see it. But so it's all a matter of exposure. I think we have an obligation to expose good music as well as all the music that's there, so people have a choice and make sure that it's well-rounded. And then focus on the things that we want people to do, because, where we keep our minds are where we're really going to go. So if we talk about love and peace all over the world, which is how I came up with all over the world. We said, people have to get up and start making peace themselves, and just imagine peace all over the world like that. And it started when they started breaking out. It was not Syria, but it was before that. About a year or so ago, my son and I, we sat down and we talked about it. And he was doing some tracks, and he said, "Well, let's do a song about the peace all over the world." I said, "That's a good idea. Let's go ahead." So I started writing the lyrics and wrote the lyrics out, and he wrote some lyrics out, and then I put the melody together behind his track. And before I know it, we had a beautiful presentation, and he produced it. And so we did a thought piece, basically intentionally to get started peace all over the world. And one of the things I'm doing, by the way, is I'm doing what I call a May Day for Peace. So on May 11th, everybody can turn on their lights at 10 o'clock all over the world. I just put it up on my website that they can turn their lights up all over the world and sign in a declaration for peace saying, "Let peace begin on earth and let it begin with me. I will let my light shine." And then that way, so to get that oneness of vibration happening. And the page will be up in about a week, so that people can come and sign, and then they can, pay attention to May 11th, and we can call it May Day for Peace, because we need some peace out here. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Oh yeah,
so and we can get people to think about peace and focus on peace.
Well, if you'll let Chip know when that's active, then we will link that to our site so that our visitors to our site can go to your site and do that. We'll also put a little snippet on our site about that to help promote it and get the word out on social media as well, because that's a great concept. I mean, I think if we would, as a nation and as a world, if we would take more moments like that to do just the smallest of things in unison, what a difference it would make,
And make that oneness. Can you imagine the vibration of everybody turning that light on and having that thought and thinking peace and making hello and making thoughts just like that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as when like we had the moment of silence for Boston yesterday. I mean just when you take those few moments to just kind of stop and reflect, and you're doing it as one. You're right. I mean, there is nothing like that, and because that's as close to being unified as you can possibly be in a moment of time. And that's really what it's all about, and that's what we're here for, to try to be unified. And there's so much in the world that divides us, but I think things like that, like I said, it's just the smallest things that sometimes can make the biggest difference. And so we will definitely, you need to write a song called that. The smallest of things make the biggest difference. There you go.
All right, so we got then, right? Right. It kind of goes in like all over the world and make a better world, but that's not a bad, the smallest, it's a great title. That's a great title and a great idea. Okay, so if we're on there, I guess we have to do that, huh?
Well, you know what? I'll just leave the title. I'll give you the title, plant the seed, and I'll let you and your son do the rest. I know nothing about songwriting, so that just kind of came to me while we were chatting just now. So, well, I am so excited that you were able to be with us tonight. I mean, we're our time is up, but it has been such a blessing speaking with you and just having you here and being our special guest. You are phenomenal, and you're definitely one of my heroes with everything that you've accomplished, but all the things that you do that are just positive and what you put forth. It's just amazing to have met you and had this time with you.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for everything that you've allowed me to express, what have you. I just want to say one thing real quick about I am getting ready to put the video together for all over the world, and so I'm going to have people upload their videos that they would like of peaceful celebrations, and all over the world we're going to put everything up. And my son, who's now a videographer after he did his music, we're going to put that video together. So I'll let you know when that comes up too. But I appreciate everything you've done, and I do also thank you for being who you are, because it's people like you that make us able to do what we have to do.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Well, Kristy, thank you, and God bless you, and we look forward to speaking with you again real soon.
Okay, God bless you.
All right, have a great night. Thank you.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
We've been speaking with Kristy Love, and she's just such a phenomenal human being. I really enjoyed that chat because she really, she has a great heart for, giving to others, and her music, as you will hear in just a few moments, is indicative of that. Her latest album is Songs of Love and Peace. And I want to play a cut off of that right now, the one she was just speaking about, but the video will be out to you very soon. I think you'll love this. It's very modernized. It's very poppy. It's got a great sound. It's kind of got a dance club feel, but it has an awesome message. And this is off of the latest album, and it's called All Over the World.
All over the world, all over the world, all over the world, all over the world. I've got it, the answer to all these worldly problems. You name them, I've had them, now I know how to solve them. There will be no worries, no fear, I can't be doubting. I let all worries go, so I can dance the night away and
Hi, that was Kristy Love, and her latest album is called Songs of Love and Peace, and that was a cut off of that called All Over the World. And, gosh, we want to say a huge, huge thank you again to our special guest, Kristy Love. She's a phenomenal woman, and if you get a chance, go to her website and check out all her information. You can reach her at KristyLove.com. I'm sorry, KristyLoveBrooks.com. You can also follow her on Twitter at Kristy Love. You can look her up on YouTube at Kristy Love Brooks, Facebook Kristy Love Brooks, and give her a shout out. Let her know how much you enjoyed that. And you can also purchase her album. It's available on iTunes, and it's just all over the place. So go to her website, check it out. There's a lot of content there and a lot of interesting information about her. So we really enjoyed our time with her this evening and really appreciate it. And for everyone who tuned in, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're brand new to our program tonight, welcome aboard. We're so glad that you were here with us. We hope that you will not be a stranger and that you'll be back with us again real soon. All right, coming up, let's see. We have tomorrow night, we have an artist by the name of Alyssa Benilio. And she has a song we have been playing here on our show for the last couple of weeks. It's called Can't Love Me. And it is a great song. It's really upbeat. It's just hip-hop, not hip-hop. It's poppy. It's fun. It's one of those head-bobbing, sing along kind of songs once you get into it. I mean, it's just a great song. She's a great singer, and she is actually going to be with us tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we look forward to that. And then we will not be here on Saturday night. At least I don't think we will be. But we most likely will not be here for our Indie Artist Showcase this week. We've got a couple of things going on, so we're taking the night off. If something changes, we will tweet out about it. But in the meantime, it looks like we will not be doing our show this week, just to give you a heads up on that. And so for that is going to about wrap our show for this evening. We look forward to having you right back here tomorrow night for Alyssa Benilio at 7 p.m. Eastern. And until then, have a great night all, and we will see you again right back here real soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin' Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us. Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop, baked from scratch, custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com.